Hello, 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 everyone. I want to welcome you to another amazing episode of Chat with Themmy. My name is Thelma Titi Ahamba. If you do not know me, I am the one and only host for Chat with Themmy. And guess what? Today I've brought to you another amazing guest. So my name is Thelma Titi Ahamba or Themmy Ahamba, and I am a digital marketing consultant, a business mentor, and an education influencer. I am about all things empowerment, education, and inspiration. So if you're looking for inspiration on your journey, if you're looking for new information to empower your journey, if you're looking for new insights that you can take on to steer your life in the right direction, this is the place for you. I have an amazing lady today who's going to be talking to us about a very interesting topic. If you're a parent, come closer, baby, because you're going to need this info. Okay. She is none other but Madam Natalie McCabe, and she is a parenting coach. Have you heard about that? Parents, have you heard about anything called parenting coach? Yes, this lady is amazing in her field, and I just can't wait for you to get to know her. Just getting to know her, I'm like, I'm a mom. I need you in my life, all right? And if you're mom, if you're dad, you need Natalie McCabe in your life because definitely you want to raise a child who's in touch with life, who's connected humanly to you. All right. And I'm going to bring her right up so she can do the introduction for herself so you can get to meet her. Give me drum roll right here. Welcome, 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 Madam Natalie McCabe. Welcome to Chat with Themmy. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation to be on here. I am super, super, super excited to have you on the show, and I cannot wait to see how much germs you're going to be dropping for me and my audience today. And I'm so honored to have you on here. Please take it away, introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Themmy. I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited. Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie McCabe. As Themmy said, I'm a parent coach, but I've been an elementary school teacher for 30 years. I've been also a single mother for 16 years, so I do know about the struggles that any and all parents have. And, my life's journey is to empower parents, educate parents, give them their confidence back, and have them understand that there's no such thing as a perfect parent. It's really important that we understand that this is the hardest job in the world, and there's so many facets to it, and every child is different and every parent is different, that I really want parents to feel like, hey, I am doing a good job, no matter where you're at in your journey. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. And when you said in this topic, I'm like, I want to know about this because as parents, it's like you get so busy and you're like, I want to give you the best life. I'm doing everything I can for you. I, and then, oh, your birthday, here's an iPad. Your graduation, here's a gadget. Your celebration, here's this one, here's that one. And before you
Mhm.
know, your kids are like, the internet is actually parenting your kids, right?
Yes,
So
that's yeah. There's a big, if you'll notice, look for research on the effects of technology on kids. It's not easily found. The professor whom I was trained to, the Parent Coaching Institute, authored a book. Her name is Gloria Di Catano. Authored a book called um, what is it? The Patterns Over Time. And she goes through 200 different studies that show the detrimental effects of children on too much technology. It's not widely known. And that's, I think, by design, right? By big companies. They don't want parents to be all upset and worried about how much time their kids are spending on screens.
they're not gonna make money.
No, exactly. Now, let's face it. I'm not going to sit here and say no screens ever, get rid of screens, throw them out. We can't do that. They're really part of our society today. However, there are some guidelines put out by the American Pediatric Association for different age groups on how much screen time is, kind of acceptable or optimal, right? So they do these are their regulation or recommendations. children under the age of 18 months should have no screen time other than like video chatting and things like this. This is their recommendation. They say children from 2 to 5 have 1 hour a day of high quality programming, and ideally with a parent viewing with them.
I'm learning. I'm learning. Children under the age of 18 months. Okay. Now that's a step on my toes.
Listen, Themmy, I know parents today, I mean, it's how you get a break. It keeps them quiet. They're engaged. They're watching, little learning things, right? Like, I get it. When my kids were young, we'd have our little shows and things on at that time, right? And but it's more about the cumulative effect of day after day
Yeah.
after day, the
Yeah.
impacts are huge. The impacts on thinking and learning
And I must
alone.
say this. I must say this. I am grateful you're coming on the show really early because this is something you're teaching me. All
Yeah,
right. As a mom, as a busy mom, sometimes that's like my getaway.
I
And
understand
for
completely.
you
You're
to
not the
just
only one.
clearly, for you to just clearly say this is the recommendation. It's like Thelma, listen to this. This is for you.
Yeah.
So if you are Thelma out there, this is for all of us, okay? And
Yeah,
y'all know on chat to tell me I get vulnerable. I share my own struggles, and this one
me
is for
too.
me. And it's
Yeah,
something, being a parent, being a modern parent, there's technology. We cannot rule out technology.
we
Okay. That's
can't.
like she said, we cannot rule out technology.
No,
It's part of our lives now. But the thing is, there are like detrimental effects to our kids' development, and in as
yes,
much as it's gonna like save us time, it's gonna, help us get some sanity. Like, okay, I can sleep a little bit. Oh, I can just do my homework, or I can just do the scores and stuff because my baby's watching cartoons, and you're like, yeah, over time you realize that I know, like, okay, my 4-year old, she, you can literally call her name and she's like, yes, okay, I'm listening to you. Like, she's focused and she's not gonna get that out of her way. So sometimes you're like, you know what, hope it's off. Then she will turn, and then she'll turn with a sad face for the fact that she has to pay attention to you and not do what's important to her. She's like,
yes,
it's like, what's going on here? Why did you turn it off? I'm having my quality time and stuff like that.
yeah,
So this topic is very special to me because I know it's going to change my perspective on certain things, on a lot of things, not just certain things, because this is my first time actually meeting a parent coach to be able
yes,
to have, I would like to call this a very hard conversation for a
yes.
modern day parent.
It is
So
very important. And the knowledge, like, I mean, it's not out there. It's not something that people are focused on. Now, I can go through some of those impacts. That there's impacts on thinking and learning and attention, verbal skills, literacy skills. Big one, problem solving skills. When you think of our babies and our young children, how do they learn to solve problems? In a three-dimensional world where they're building a tower, they're solving that problem. Those critical
yeah,
thinking skills are huge for children, especially. That's when they build them, and they can only do that in a 3D environment. So that's a
after
huge
the store I go. After the store I go.
yeah. So the other one that's huge is emotional regulation. So
Hmm.
that you can tell me every beautiful, amazing educational show out there. There's all kinds of them. They're amazing that are teaching kids little things. There's not a screen out there that's going to teach a child how to regulate their emotions, unless it's a dot that's breathing on a meditation app or something.
Yeah.
But and emotional regulation is a huge skill that, I mean, as a school teacher for 30 years, it was disappointing to not have time in the curriculum to specifically teach the children about how their brain works, how to regulate their emotions, how to
Yeah.
calm their mind. That just isn't important in Canada, and I'm not sure anywhere in the world that they focus on that. But from
Wow.
my experience, if you don't have that ability and skill, what are you learning?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
Wow.
So there's some skills
But
that
these
have.
are what makes us humans, right? What inspired you to I mean, there is several careers you're faced with. What made you want to go into elementary school?
I love the young ones. Elementary school, they're still excited about learning, and as they get a little older, when they're like 9 and 10, they get my jokes. I really like that. And with them,
Okay.
they're so excited about learning. So anything that I do with them, I had a class of grade 4 and 5s last year when I took my last year of teaching, and
Um,
they all created podcasts, Themmy.
what?
Yes, we had little microphones, and
Oh,
because
no.
I just thought it was perfect. The kids in literacy, they have to do reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Well, there's a podcast. Okay, bud, you're going to write this podcast down. You're going to listen
Wow.
to each other and read it, and then speak it we had the fancy little microphones and everything. They were so excited.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the creativity for parents to think outside the box instead of a screen, right?
Yeah.
That because the kids get really excited about those kinds of things. Um,
Wow.
you know, like you said a little bit earlier, we all want our children to have our values, right? Well, if your kid's on a screen all the time, whose values are they getting? Big tech.
Yeah.
Right? Big tech.
Yeah.
And when the children are young, you have easy control over that. But as they grow older, and they're watching things at other people's houses, and they're on more different apps and sites, it's really important that if you can at a young age to establish boundaries around technology. But also another big important thing as kids are a bit older than yours is digital literacy, media literacy,
Mm-hmm.
right? The students or the children should know, is this site telling me the truth? How do I find out if this is reliable information? So that
Exactly.
comes from the parent watching some of this media with their children, whether it be a television show, whether it be advertisements, whether it be whatever. I really encourage a parent to sit down and have conversations, and even as young as like 2.5. This is crazy. I was coaching a parent, 2.5-year-old, and I encouraged her first of all to sit down and watch a show with him, a show that he is interested in. So anyway, she did that, and she was gradually reducing the screen time as the days went on, right? So she would sit with them, and I said, well, you can start to comment about what you see in the show as the mom, right? How do you think the guy off Paw Patrol's feeling right now? Why do you think that? So anyway, Themmy, she did that for a couple of days. And first, let me say, she thought I was a little bit nuts because he's a bit young, right? But he's super smart. Guess what happened after a couple of days? He started asking her questions about the show.
Wow.
They are sponges. They will take in anything and everything. Our focus wants to be on the three-dimensional. There's 8 essential needs of children: strong love and bond with their parents, an
Yeah.
interior life as they get older, like they're thinking about their own thinking, that's problem solving, self-talk,
Mm-hmm.
imagination, creative expression, contributing to the community or the family,
Mm-hmm.
right? Movement, nutrition, literacy. So
Wow.
those 8 things, I encourage parents to let's focus on those 8 things, and you will naturally find the screen time does reduce when you change your focus onto these they're essential human needs. Every child needs these 8 things. So
Wow.
yeah.
And how do we, so say for instance, okay, so I'm gonna use myself as an example, right? Because all my kids are under 5 and my youngest is like 8 months. So, and vulnerably I'll admit that I've got him indoctrinated into strings, right?
Yeah.
And he like his little He likes his little dancing puppets and cartoons and singing. And he literally be going in action, like raising his hands and dancing. And when you stand him up, he's shaking his body, he's going this way. I mean, it's educational. And um, the baby books, I try to read it to him once in a while, but it's really short. And recently I tried something, um, went for his appointment, and then the doctor gave me his primary care gave me a baby book about eating. And then this book had like the English version and the Spanish version. It was fun to watch. I would read the English version and attempt to read the Spanish version. And this kiddo, this infant was laughing at me because I'm not Spanish. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about Spanish, but I was just using my head and
Yeah.
syllables to pronounce. And when I read the English version, he didn't laugh so much,
That's
right?
so
But
funny.
when I read the Spanish version, and he just started giggling, I'm like, wait, does he think I'm lying to him?
This is how smart they are. He
Yeah,
knows you're struggling with it and he finds that funny.
yeah. So how do I bring on more about these things? Like how do I like
Yes.
guide
So, I
that
mean, obviously, Themmy, it's important. Would never ever suggest to a parent say you have to be your child's entertainment. Please don't. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No, that is impossible. That's not our job. It's those moments like you had at the doctor's office. Perfect, right? So you say he likes the music. Just take the screen away and blast the music, right? Like music
Okay,
is
that's smart.
music, right? Any kind of music, your kind of music. That's setting values. Listen, some of the stuff
Yesterday,
my children
yesterday,
listen to, they're listening to the classics, and their friends are going, "Where'd you hear that?" And I'm like,
yesterday,
"That's my
yesterday something
kids."
happened. We're always watching cartoon because of this baby, right? And
Mhm.
I mean, I'd be sitting with adults and I'm singing, uh, A, I'm amazing. B, I am bold. I'm beautiful. And I mean, so like these little babies affirmation. It's really cute, and I could sing it back to back and word for word. Okay.
Yeah,
Yesterday we're like, you know what, dude? You're gonna sit here and listen to our worship songs, okay? So yesterday we had our worship songs the entire time in the house. And
yeah,
he had no choice but to sit there and worship with us. Like
yeah,
we were dancing, we were moving our bodies, and he was just there. And I'm like, you know what? We'll definitely go into that bargain. We watch
yeah.
your cartoon a little bit. You get to dance our music a little bit.
That's
We
right.
see your baby singing ABCD. You get to see worship songs and dance and shout. And then the thing is, there's one particular song that I used to listen to when I was pregnant with him. Right?
Oh yeah.
It's a Christian song. It says Emmanuel has done it again. And this little baby recognizes that song whenever he hears it playing.
Yes.
Because like that was like my best song. I would dance, I would move my body. It was so nice. I was very heavy, but I would dance. Like I would just even if I'm alone, if it's my phone, if it's TV, like I would just dance to that song. And then he comes out recognizing the song
Yes.
I've been playing and dancing. And
Yes.
when he hears it, he would stop and listen
Mhm.
because he recognizes the song. And I'm like, that's so powerful.
That's when brain development begins, is in utero. That's when it
Wow.
begins. I work with a nonprofit organization here in Canada that is promoting support for families and pregnant mothers so they can have the support and the knowledge and the education from when the child's in utero, and then be followed and have the support all the way going up in education, if they're disadvantaged. I mean, this is knowledge that everybody could have, but it's just not big in the mainstream media yet.
When are
Yet.
they gonna put it out there
Very
though?
passionate about all topics relating to children and parenting, and technology is just one, but I feel like I want to talk about it more and just give parents here's some things you can do instead. I don't want to guilt shame anybody that, oh, your kid's watching too much TV. No, it's not about that. We do what we need to do to cope, and that's okay. But if people would like the knowledge and would like strategies to, how can I reduce this a bit? How can I put more life in this system that isn't so when they're looking at the screen, right? I mean, I remember I hadn't read any of this research, Themmy. My kids were 2 and 4. And back then there was no iPads or anything like that. I'm a little old. Anyway, and I remember watching my kids and I remember looking at their faces and it was just like this. And I was waiting for the drool to come down. Like the light, you know what I mean? The light in their eyes was gone, right? And I'm like, ooh, I don't know because I was kind of studying them as an educator. I was home with them and I was kind of studying them like, how do they learn this? Like, what are they thinking in their little heads? Like, it was so incredibly interesting to me, right? So, and I being in the schools for 30 years, I've watched the change in the children in society over the last number of years of the difference in their creativity and imagination, attention spans. I've noticed all of these impacts are showing up in the classrooms, right? So, there's a couple of, I can give you 4 things that everybody can do at home right now to have a look at their situation. Set some limits. If you have no limits, we'll start with reducing the time by 15 minutes, 5 minutes even, if you don't have any limits at all right now, you're in for a little bit of work. Okay. Then,
I need to set that limit and I need to make a healthy kind of limit.
Yeah. Because like I said earlier, the high quality programming, things that don't move, flashy, fast, big colors, their brains are not capable of taking in all that information, processing all that information, right? Like they need time in a 3-dimensional world. It takes time to solve a problem, build a tower, whatever, right? So the other thing that I ask parents to look at is look at the arrangement of your home. So is your home like a high tech? Are all the chairs facing the TV? You know what I mean? Or is your home high touch? Is it for conversational? Are there different play areas that the kids can, spend time in, right? Like just have a look, for older children, are they having devices in their rooms overnight? Are they having a television in their room? Are they falling asleep to the TV? These are all common things. And, I'm not saying everybody has their own values and they do what they want to do. If you want to make changes, though, look at these different aspects, right?
Yeah, but we need to do something that's going to be healthy for our kids because they will not always have us around. And some of these things will help them navigate in life really easily, to be in touch with humans and not just be in their own world of technology. Because, if technology is not guided, it could go south. And if you're not paying attention, like your kids, like the other day I was talking to my sister and she was like, these kids are way smarter than parents now. You would think they don't know how some of these things work. Like, we're old school. And they're like, my kid know how to unlock my phone and snap a picture.
Yeah.
And then like when I'm looking for my phone and she has it, like she can literally pretend. And she and her sister does that very well. And they're just 3 and 4.
Yep.
They will hide it and then somebody's trying to cover up and distract me whilst the other person. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, right? And then when you say go to your room, they will stand behind the door and be like, who should call my attention first? And then they will do their little board meeting and then decide. The other day I caught them red-handed. And then they were like, I was standing behind the door and they had no idea. And then they were like, they should start shouting and screaming and calling out my name as if something's wrong. I'm standing right at the door on the other side and listening to these two talk about me and my husband. And then Joe said, you, Charity, shout first. And Charity was like, no, do first. And they were like, you know what? Let's just do it first. And then both of them went, Mommy. And I just opened the door and then they just like, okay, so you guys are literally discussing who to distract one of us first or pretend like something's going on and then we'll rush down here. But I just listened to the entire conversation that both of you just had behind this door.
Yeah.
And then they started smiling sheepishly like, Mommy, I love you, okay? Love you.
Love you.
Where is this? It was so crazy, right? And I'm like, in their little heads, they're like smarter than me.
They're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant.
And sometimes I'm like, I hate to admit it, but they're like really smart. And then
Yes,
when I look at other kids doing, I'm like, wait, this thing is just everywhere. It's like it's the technology age. So kids are like they know how to get away around stuff and they know how to navigate and stuff like that. So they're like sometimes they try to outsmart parents. But then
absolutely.
just getting that away from them, or sometimes like you're saying, put in between time limits and stuff to help let them be in touch with life. That's amazing.
That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
And as they get older, and even at 3 and 4, you can talk about intentionally teaching a little bit about the media, right? I mean, I know a lot of us don't have commercials on our TV shows anymore because but there's lots on YouTube, and but so having a conversation, I did used to have a conversation with my 3 and 4 year olds about commercials because they'd see the commercial for the new toy, right? I want that
Mhm.
toy. I'm like, okay, like let's talk about this. Like, why do you want that toy? Right? You've just seen it. They make it look all pretty. Do you think it really does that? As they get older, you can extend the conversation. About what is real on the internet and what is not, and the social skills are also an impact. Kids that are on too much, the social skills kind of are reduced because they're not able
Okay.
to notice other people's body language exactly unless you're intentionally teaching as you're watching something. But if they're not interacting with enough other humans, adults, children their own age, is right, those social skills, we want to build them up. So intentionally teaching digital literacy, media literacy is huge. And the last, unleash the family's creativity. I had someone of my gave a parent this idea one time. This family show that they like to watch together. Put a blanket over the TV and make them listen. Right?
Wow, I like that.
Like just fun, creative ways. Like, listen, media is not going anywhere. Technology is not going anywhere. But
Exactly.
if parents want to instill their personal values into their children, then you want to take a bit more control, set your limits according to your values, and have fun with it. Just have
Very
fun.
much.
Because with a child that has a strong, healthy self identity of themselves as a learner and creator, they can grow up using all kinds of screen technologies competently and age appropriately. But we want to
Mm,
work on that self identity, learner, and creativity. Build that. That's your foundation of your house, right?
that's
Building
true.
that first.
Wow, this has been so much insightful. I am literally gonna leave here taking actions. And if you're watching this, you want to, have your kids be human and be in touch with life and not just leave them for technology to raise them. This is a very powerful conversation. Especially it comes with the whole manner of taking actions like do this activity or do that. I mean, you can do great things to help yourself save time, and it's evidence that we cannot rule out screen time entirely, but we can put some healthy boundaries in place to help the kids be able to work around things. Because at the end of the day, you don't want them going to a party where they're supposed to enjoy the experience of being with other kids and then they just stuck onto the phone or they're just
Mhm.
stuck onto the iPads and then they leave that place not, not being able to relate with other humans, not be able to, control their emotions or, just to be urgy because their cartoon does not disturb them. Their games now is the Roblox. Yes. Like
Yeah,
I don't understand how
some
that
research
works.
on that. I'm gonna not go there, but there is some research and things that, yeah, monitor. Have these devices where the family is, where someone can be
Wow.
monitoring.
And the other day I was talking to my nieces and I'm like, I don't know what you guys see in these things. And they're like, well, you're not a kid, you're not gonna understand. I'm like, very well so, but I mean, I just don't know. And it's just so interesting. They're just so glued. And I'm like, I don't even it's not even fun to me.
I
And they're
know.
like, well, maybe because you were not born in America. And I'm like, well, I take it any day. I'll take it. But it's just interesting how their minds are, and when they say, okay, like this is my favorite kind of thing. Like this is actually their favorite kind of thing, and they don't want to do anything else but that thing.
That's
Right?
what happens. That's another impact of feelings and behavior, right? They get kind of they're used to this fast moving screen and
Mm-hmm.
following this, and then so you put that down. Well, do you see anything moving that fast in the real world? Right? They're
I
looking around
mean,
and they're like, I'm bored. I'm bored, right?
yeah,
Because they're not having that same sort of stimulus, right?
yeah,
So, and we can't give them that to them in the 3D world. But what we can do is spend time monitoring, being with them as they're playing these things. And then like I suggested to one parent, take their interest in science or whatever it is, and let's go do a science experiment in real life, right? Instead of watching it. Like
that's such a good idea
whatever their
because
interest.
now they're going to learn by doing and not just
Mhm.
watching.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They really watching is not all children even learn just visually, right? There's a lot of kids, they have to be hands on in the dirt, figuring it out. And that
Yeah,
the resilience, we all want our kids to be resilient, right? Well, in order to become resilient, you have to be persistent in solving problems.
yeah,
Well, if you're used to fast stimulated all the time, blah, 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 problem solving, you have to take it down. You got to be calm. You got to try this. You got to think about this. You got to try that, right? Those critical thinking, problem solving skills, the screens, it gives them speed. And, I'm not saying there's not any video games out there that don't have critical thinking skills. There are. Like I said, I'm not here to down technology. I just want the awareness to be out there that there's 8 major needs that children have, and none of them, nowhere does it say screen time is necessary, right? Like they're going
what
to
are,
get a
what
time.
are, what are, what are some of those needs that they have?
So strong, loving parent-child bond,
Mm.
the interior life, the self-talk, and I mean, you're doing that with your babies with those affirmations. That's the beginning of that, right? We want them to have that interior life, their imagination, generative imagination, creative expression. So not only just the imaginative play, but creating something, contributing to a larger community. And a lot of times, and that's young children, that's their family, right? A 3-year-old can help set the table. A 2.5-year-old can take a small broom and clean the corner of the kitchen. I mean, I find today's parents feel like, oh, everything has to be child centered and we have to do fun things for the kids and it's all for the kids. Yes, it's all for the kids, but listen, what about you? The house still needs to be cleaned, right? These tasks of laundry and stuff. And when they're little, you can make it fun. I had one parent, she had
Yeah,
4 children under the age of 9, and laundry was her nemesis. I said, honey, I said, buy 4 baskets. I said, craft day, decorate those baskets, and all the kids can have their own little laundry basket. And then they get their
yeah,
special time with mommy. Each child, I said, just 1 load a day. I'm not overloading this woman. She's got 4 kids under 9, But I said each day, each child would go down and they get special time with mom to learn how to do the laundry. That's fun time
yeah,
for the kids.
and that's exciting. Mine sometimes will want to
Yeah.
wash dishes. She's like,
Yes.
"Mom, can I climb up and wash dishes and stuff?" And in that moment, for them, it's like, okay, they want to know how this thing works. They want to feel the water on your hands. They want to feel the soap on their hands,
Yeah.
and they just want to, play under the running water and stuff like that. And that's pretty interesting. And I think that's a great opportunity for us to help guide them into learning some of these life skills. My
Yes.
younger daughter, she would like when you're in the kitchen, she's like, "Mommy, what is this? Mommy, what is that?" You say, "Okay, this is salt. This is seasoning. This is spice. This is blah."
She
And
wants
it's
to
just
cook.
exactly.
Get her in there, Themmy.
Um,
She can stir
when
things.
when she see the pot, she's like, "Is it hot?" I'm like, "Yes, it's hot." She's like, "Okay, what is this?" And then I'm like, "It's a stove. How do you turn that on?" And then I'll show her how to turn. I'm like, "But you cannot turn it on now because you're small and you don't know how to." She's
Yeah.
like, "Okay." And then stuff like that. And then they'll be like, "What is this?" It's the fridge. How do you open it? And then you open it. And then, what is this? And I'm like, sometimes it's like, okay, now when I see
Yes.
her, I'm like, okay, here we go again. We gotta do some
Yeah.
masterclass and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But then I realized that she's and my 2 kids, my 2 daughters, right? one is interested in being hands-on, and the other one, her auntie laughs at her and says she's gonna be like, "Mommy, too much screen time." Because
Yeah.
I'm guilty of too much screen time. And my second daughter is like, give her screen and she'll put that away.
Hmm.
She wants the human interaction. She
Yes.
wants to connect with you. She will notice when you're sad. She'll notice when you're not smiling. She'll
Hmm.
notice when you do not look happy.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Are you okay? Can I do something for you? Is your stomach hurting? Do you want to drink medicine? Do you miss your mom? Do you want to see your dad?" And like, she is that caring. Like, she is all up in the details of it.
Yeah.
My first daughter, she's like, okay, she needs her own space. And I mean,
Yes.
it's normal for everybody to be different, but then it's just so interesting that knowing that, okay, I birthed these two, but their
Hmm.
characteristics is quite, and it's such a beautiful thing to watch, knowing
It
that
is.
this is actually real, right? I'm
Absolutely.
sitting there and I'm looking at them like, okay, so I birthed two different human beings in this world, and
Hmm.
each
And
of
a
them have
third,
their
wait till the
own
baby,
yeah,
he's different
he has
again.
his own personality. I'm like, I call him bro, like, bro, what's up?
Yeah.
Because he's old. He's so old. And
Yeah.
then it's like, wow. So I'm like, most of the time I'm like looking out for these. Sometimes I check online, there's these games that I see. Um where they could do like different sticky notes with different colors, and then they'll mix and match and ask the child to choose. And I'm like always just saving them and sending them to my husband, like, yo, the girls can try this. Oh, this looks interesting. Some they'll be like, okay, find the water bottle, find the, hide and seek, different things. And
Hmm.
then they're very excited. And I see other kids do that. I'm like, okay, I want to do that. And you can replace screen time. And that's like they're learning hands on, and they're also bonding with you as a parent.
That's the
So
big, yeah.
um,
The screen
I
time
know
will
I'm
introduce itself,
guilty. I'm guilty of
right?
screen time.
Uh,
So sometimes
Stop,
I'm like
stop, stop,
this.
stop. No, I don't want you to be guilty about anything. Remember how I
Okay.
started this out?
Yeah.
It's not to be guilty about, because as you said, you've have three different children. There is no right or wrong way. Nobody wrote a manual for this parenting thing. There are a lot of great books out there, but I like, listen, I wrote one too. It's not out yet. But what I say is there is no perfect way to do it, because you're going to
Exactly.
parent your older daughter differently than you'll parent your second daughter, differently than you'll parent your son, right?
Yeah.
So this is a reminder, the hardest job in the world. So the best thing we can do is go easy on ourselves, make those
That's
small changes that we want to change, that are in line with our values, that, of our
that's
family, of our culture, whatever that is, and go forward and have some fun with it. The last thing I was going to like about things parents and families can do, just have fun with it. Whether you're in front of the screen as a family, or your family's working together as a team to get supper prepared or supper cleaned up, food, whatever, just have fun with it. Go easy on yourself.
Thank you so
Mean to
much,
stress too much.
Natalie. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting with you guys. I hope you're gonna enjoy this conversation because it's so insightful. Um, I mean, I was all up in my feelings because I know what I do. So definitely, this was a very insightful conversation. If you want to know more about Natalie, you can learn more about her from her website. It's right on here, nataliemccabe.com. Go check her out. She has some amazing and interesting things working with parents, especially in this day and age where if care is not taken, technology could make or break our kids. So we need to, be have a safe balance to say, okay, are we doing too much? Are we doing too less? We cannot rule it out, but at the same time, we cannot allow it to rule us. So definitely check out Natalie. It's it's a great honor for me to sit here and learn from you in your free time. Thank you so much for coming out to honor my invitation to sit on here and educate me and my audience. I really do appreciate your time you took up to be on chat with me, and it's amazing that I got to know you. And yo, the podcast is all the way in Canada. Yes, that's amazing. Our first Canadian guest. This is
This
yeah.
is worldwide.
Hopefully in the future we're gonna have a physical podcast, right?
Yes.
And this is so honoring and humbling for me to know that I really don't know everything. and I could learn, just, basking in the wealth of knowledge of other people, from their rich experience to their expertise and everything. Is such a humble experience for me, and I am honored that you
And
took time to come talk to me.
well, Themmy, that's the beauty of why you're doing what you're doing, and the reason why you will impact so many people, because that's what the world needs right now. So thank you for doing what you're doing and helping people with digital business and knowledge and empowerment and inspiration.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Guys, until the next episode, I'll see you. Remember to follow up on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow on TikTok. Definitely, we're getting some things up and rolling real fast, but definitely, I'm happy that you guys are out here to support me and learn. And I cannot wait to see testimonies. If you connect with Natalie, definitely tell me that I had a chat with her. It was amazing. I'd be happy to see
Yes,
that you're taking some action and footsteps. You
because
want to say
I
something?
also I have the special gift that's for your audience only. So if they do reach out, I do have a special gift that is only for your audience. It's not on my
Yay! This is
website. Email me.
exclusive. This is pro. This is
Yeah,
just for a chat with Temming audience.
just for
Okay,
chat with
guys.
10 people, nobody
Thank
else.
you. When you reach out to Natalie, just say chat with Temming, and she'll definitely send it your way. So thank
Yeah,
you so much,
because it's not on the
Natalie.
website, so they won't
I
find it on the
really, really,
website. It's
really,
hidden.
I really, really, really appreciate this. So thank you so much for your
Awesome.
time, guys.
No
Until the
problem.
next episode, I'll see you. Bye.